On our website, you can get PDF learning materials for free. Please visit englist.me.
Pollen.
A fine powder substance consisting of microscopic grains produced by plants that facilitate their reproductive process through the process of pollination.
Examples:
Pollen allergy symptoms. High pollen count. My allergies flare up during pollen season, making it difficult to breathe.
Convince.
To persuade someone or make someone believe that something is true.
Examples:
Convince her to go with us. Convince an opponent. I am considering what I should do to convince him.
Secondly.
Used to introduce the second point or item in a list or series of statements, considerations, etc.
Examples:
Secondly connected. Secondly, it is important. Firstly, we will discuss the budget. Secondly, we will go over the schedule.
Scan.
To examine something hastily, with the eyes or with a machine, to get information.
Examples:
Scan the face of a man. Scan a document into PDF. She stood on the podium and scanned an audience.
Electron.
A tiny particle with a negative electrical charge.
Examples:
Flow of electrons. Beam of electrons. The outermost electron shell determines the chemical properties of an atom.
Microscope.
An instrument used to see objects or substances that are too small to be seen with the naked eye.
Examples:
Microscope slide. Electron microscope. I used an optical microscope to observe the small organisms in the water sample.
Genetic.
Of or relating to genes, equals parts of the DNA in cells, or the science of genes.
Examples:
Have genetic testing. A genetic disorder. Understanding protein folding is a vital step in deciphering the genetic code.
Diversity.
The quality or fact of many different types of things or people being included in something, a range of different things or people.
Examples:
The diversity policy of the university. Lingual diversity. He was impressed by the range and diversity of the collection.
Mate.
A person's partner in marriage or romantic relationship, an animal's sexual partner, a peer or friend, of the game of chess, checkmate, which is the winning condition of the game.
Examples:
Smoking mate. Dog-loving mate. I need to find a mate for my female guinea pig so she doesn't get lonely.
Probable.
Likely to happen or likely to be true.
Examples:
Probable outcome. probable cause of a fire. It seems probable that he has forgotten our scheduled meeting.
Humming.
Producing a continuous, low, vibrating sound like that of the bee.
Examples:
Humming sound. Hummingbird. The humming of the bees filled the air as she walked through the garden.
Anther.
The part of a flower stamen that produces and contains pollen, usually located at the top of the stamen.
Examples:
Anther pollen. Flower anther. Many plants have evolved anther hairs as a mechanism to prevent self-pollination.
Grain.
Wheat or any other small hard seeds used as a food, a relatively small granular particle of a substance.
Examples:
A grain of sand. Flour made from grain. Ordinary air purifiers cannot adequately remove pollen grains.
Prolific.
Producing many works, results, or offspring.
Examples:
Prolific apple tree. Prolific period. The prolific author had written over 20 books in just 5 years.
Cereal.
A type of grain used for food, such as wheat, oats, or corn that is typically ground into flour, cooked into porridge, or used to make breakfast cereals.
Examples:
Cereal grain. Cold cereal. I always start my morning with a bowl of cereal.
Crop.
A plant that is cultivated in large amounts, particularly for food.
Examples:
Crop field. Crop herbicide. Sow early for an early crop.
Micrograph.
A photograph or image that has been taken through a microscope or magnifying lens, typically used for scientific or medical purposes.
Examples:
Micrograph image. High-resolution micrograph. The micrograph of the cell shows detailed structures that the naked eye cannot see.
Tube.
A cylindrical container of metal, plastic, glass, etc., usually sealed and used as a means of preserving food or chemicals, a hollow cylindrical shape.
Examples:
A capillary tube. A glass tube. The tube train was packed with commuters during rush hour.
Micrometer.
A tool for measuring small distances or dimensions, typically accurate to within 1/1000th of a millimeter.
Examples:
Micrometer gauge. Vernier micrometer. The scientist used a digital micrometer to measure the exact thickness of the material.
Tedious.
Tiresome or boring because of being repetitive, dull, or too long, causing mental or physical fatigue due to its unrelenting nature.
Examples:
tedious task, tedious routine. The work of data entry can be tedious, but it is important for maintaining accurate records.
Morin.
A yellow or greenish-yellow dye extracted from certain plants, commonly used to color fabrics or paper.
Examples:
Morin compound, natural morin. The researchers were fascinated by the antioxidant properties of the morin hydrate.
Enterprising.
Marked by a willingness to take on new opportunities or risks in business or other ventures, characterized by resourcefulness, initiative, and innovation.
Examples:
Enterprising spirit, enterprising idea. The enterprising photographer captured rare shots of wildlife in their natural habitats.
Seed.
A small, hard, often round, a reproductive structure that contains a plant's genetic material and is capable of growing into a new plant.
Examples:
A seed coat, seed money. He planted the seed in the soil and waited for it to sprout.
Catalog.
A complete list of items, often including technical details and prices.
Examples:
A classified catalog, catalog card. She used the online catalog to find the perfect pair of earrings for her sister's birthday.
Amazing.
Extremely surprising, especially in a way that you like or admire.
Examples:
Amazing advances, the most amazing feeling. The golfer recorded an amazing distance.
Spot.
A particular location or place, a small round or roundish area, differing in color or feels from the surface around it.
Examples:
Beauty spot, a spot on his honor. This remote spot is rarely visited.
Rampant.
Especially of something bad or unwelcome, flourishing or spreading everywhere in a way that cannot be controlled.
Examples:
Rampant growth of weeds, rampant corruption. In an overly protective industry, violations of the ethics rules tend to be rampant.
Promiscuous.
Having casual sexual relations frequently with different partners, indiscriminate in the choice of sexual partners, not selective of a single class or person.
Examples:
Promiscuous bathing, promiscuous lifestyle. He was known for his promiscuous behavior.
Propagation.
The act or process of reproducing, multiplying, or spreading, often referring to the reproduction of plants or the dissemination of information.
Examples:
Plant propagation, rapid propagation. The propagation of rumors can lead to widespread misinformation and panic.
Biology.
The scientific study of life and the natural processes of living things.
Examples:
Evolutionary biology, cell and molecular biology. In junior high school, we had to dissect a frog in biology class.
Hay.
Grass that has been cut and dried for use as animal feed or bedding, a stack or bale of this dried grass.
Examples:
Hay cube, hay asthma. We sat on a hay bale and watched the sunset over the fields.
Disperse.
To spread out or distribute over a broad region, or to cause something to do so.
Examples:
Disperse false information. Disperse the protesters. Before authorities dispersed the protesters, they yelled slogans.
Chuck.
To throw something carelessly or casually, to get rid of something or someone.
Examples:
Chuck the ball across the yard. Chuck my job. I will chuck these old shoes in the trash and buy a new pair.
Mass.
A large amount of a substance with no definite shape or form, a large number of people or things grouped or crowded together.
Examples:
A mass of molten rock. Critical mass. The mass of people who do not own property is politically impotent.
Sycamore.
A deciduous tree of the maple family, typically having lobed leaves, winged fruits, and distinctive patchy bark.
Examples:
Sycamore bark. Sycamore leaves. I love the shade provided by the sycamore tree in my backyard.
Boring.
Lacking interest or excitement, tedious or dull.
Examples:
Boring work. Boring day. The lecture was so boring that many people fell asleep.
Attract.
To draw or entice someone or something towards them through the qualities they have, especially positive ones.
Examples:
Attract attention. Attract customers. The government is eager to attract international investment.
Insect.
Any small creature that has 6 legs and a body divided into 3 sections.
Examples:
Insect antenna. Insect biology. These insects are more prevalent above a certain latitude.
Pine.
A coniferous tree of the Pinaceae family, having needles and cones and characterized by its tall and slender shape. Verb: to have a desire for something or someone who is not present.
Examples:
Pine needle. Pine away for him. The pine trees in the forest gave off a fresh and invigorating scent.
Sack.
To To remove or dismiss someone from a position or place. Noun, a large bag made of strong, rough material, such as burlap, that is used for storing or carrying things.
Examples:
Sack an employee. A sleep sack. He was sacked from his job for stealing company property.
Efficient.
Performing at the highest level of productivity with the least wasted effort or resources, capable of achieving maximum output with minimum wasted effort, time, or materials.
Examples:
Efficient operation. Energy efficient appliances. The new washing machine is much more efficient than the old one.
Glom.
To take or accumulate something without permission or right, to attach oneself or to become attached to something or someone, often used with onto.
Examples:
Glom onto popular causes. Glom onto a new theory. He tried to glom onto the conversation and pretend he knew what we were discussing.
Mallow.
A flowering plant of the genus Malva, commonly known as mallows, which has colorful flowers and is known for its soft, rounded leaves.
Examples:
Pink mallow. Mallow species. The mallow extract is known for its soothing properties and is often used in skincare products.
Outrageous.
Highly unusual, unconventional, or shocking, going beyond the bounds of what is considered acceptable or proper.
Examples:
Outrageous prices. Outrageous claim. Her outrageous behavior at the party caused quite a stir among the guests.
Mangrove.
A tropical coastal tree or shrub that grows in saline soil and has prop roots that help to stabilize it.
Examples:
Mangrove forest. Mangrove swamp. The mangrove trees are known for their ability to survive in saltwater and sandy soil.
Palm.
The inner surface of the hand from the wrist to the base of the fingers, any plant of the family Palmae having an unbranched trunk crowned by large pinnate or palmate leaves.
Examples:
The palm side of the forearm. Coconut palm trees. This high-performance camera is compact enough to fit in the palm of your hand.
Showy.
Attracting attention due to being bright, flashy, or ostentatious, tending to be more concerned with appearance or showmanship than with substance or quality.
Examples:
Showy clothes. Showy jewelry. She wore a showy dress to the awards ceremony to grab people's attention.
Barb.
A sharp projection or point, often on a plant or animal, a cutting remark or criticism that is meant to hurt or insult, a type of fishing lure that has small hooks and a brightly colored feather or hair.
Examples:
Barb wire. Aim a barb. The politician's words were full of barbs designed to hurt his opponent.
Obvious.
Easy to see, discover, or understand.
Examples.
Obvious reasons. His conclusion was obvious. There are obvious differences between the two wine-producing regions.
Stick.
To put something, usually a sharp object, into something, noun, a thin piece of wood or other material.
Examples.
Stick a key in a lock. Fire stick. You stick a bill in the change machine, and the coins pop out.
Photograph.
A picture or image that is produced by a camera, a visual representation or record of a person, object, or scene that has been captured electronically or on film.
Examples.
Photograph album. Photograph memories. I found an old photograph of my grandparents from their wedding day.
Fracture.
The breaking or cracking of a rigid material or object, such as bone.
Examples.
Fracture test. Risk of bone fractures. X-ray inspection revealed many fractures.
Equator.
A line of latitude that separates Earth's northern and southern hemispheres and has a radius of around 40,075 kilometers, 24,901 miles.
Examples.
South of the equator. Above the equator. Ecuador is on the equator.
Fossilized.
Transformed into a fossil equals something preserved in rock for a very long period, or preserved in the form of a fossil, antiquated or inflexible.
Examples.
Obsolete fossilized ways. A fossilized grove. The dinosaur bones were so old that they had been wholly fossilized, turning to stone over millions of years.
Evolve.
To develop gradually, or to cause the development of something or someone gradually.
Examples.
Evolve. Evolve over the past decade. Eyeless fish evolved in dark caves.
Lab.
A workplace for the conduct of scientific research, a laboratory.
Examples.
Lab instrument. Medical lab. The Prime Minister will pay a courtesy visit to the Nobel laureate's lab.
Laboratory.
A workplace for doing scientific research or teaching science, a lab.
Examples.
Laboratory accident. Anthropology laboratory. Animal protection groups call for an end to animal testing in a laboratory.
Coincidence.
An occasion when two or more similar things happen at the same time by chance, in a surprising way.
Examples.
The coincidence of an opinion. By a strange coincidence. It was a pure coincidence that we met her in the library.
Artistic.
Of or relating to art or artist, satisfying aesthetic standards and sensibilities.
Examples:
An artistic photograph. Called promising entrepreneurs often have a high artistic sensibility.
Handy.
Valuable and convenient, easy or ready to reach or use.
Examples:
A handy-sized bag. Handy tool. They found a handy place to play catch.
Principle.
A fundamental law or truth that explains or controls how something happens or works.
Examples:
Principle of treatment. Principle in business. Efficiency isn't an essential principle here, fairness is.
Forensic.
Relating to the use of scientific methods and techniques to investigate and solve crimes or legal disputes, pertaining to or involved in legal or criminal proceedings, using scientific evidence to support a claim or argument in a court of law or other formal settings.
Examples:
Find forensic evidence. Forensic team. Forensic scientists analyzed the DNA evidence to solve the crime.
Habitat.
The type of natural environment in which an organism or group usually lives or occurs.
Examples:
A marine habitat. Threatened habitat. The habitat of this bird is freshwater areas and saltwater marshes.
Combination.
A collection of things that have been combined, an assemblage of separate parts or qualities.
Examples:
Genic combinations. Combination number. The combination to the safe was a secret.
Signature.
A person's name, often handwritten, written in a distinctive way as a form of identification or authorization, a distinctive feature or characteristic that is a hallmark or identifying mark of something or someone.
Examples:
Signature dish. Artist's signature. The lawyer confirmed that the signature on the contract was genuine.
Fingerprint.
A unique pattern of ridges and valleys on the surface of a finger that can be used to identify a person.
Examples:
Fingerprint at a crime scene. Fingerprint identification. The police used a fingerprint scanner to identify the suspect.
Proportion.
A part, share, or amount of something considered in comparative relation to a whole.
Examples:
Direct proportion. A building of vast proportions. He is more concerned about the proportion of his body fat than usual because of an upcoming bodybuilding competition.
Precise.
Sharply exact or accurate or delimited. Precise analyses. Estimate precise costs. The content is precise and informative for me.
Embedded.
Fixed firmly into the surface of something.
Examples:
Embedded systems. LED embedded glass. The embedded chip in my credit card allows me to make contactless payments.
Cotton.
A plant that is grown in warm countries and bears bolls containing seeds with soft and long hairs that are made into textile fiber and thread for sewing.
Examples:
Cotton cloth. Culture of cotton. The price of raw cotton continued to rise.
Subtle.
Not readily apparent or visible.
Examples:
Subtle changes. A subtle poison. The room was painted in a subtle pink hue.
Counterfeit.
Made in imitation of something else to deceive or defraud, not genuine or authentic.
Examples:
Counterfeit document. Counterfeit money. The company hired a team of experts to identify counterfeit products in their supply chain.
Banknote.
A piece of paper money, especially one issued by a central bank.
Examples:
Crisp banknote. $5 banknote. Counterfeiting banknotes is a felony in any country.
Provenance.
The origin, source, or history of something, particularly relating to an object or work of art, the documentation or record of the ownership and history of a valuable item.
Examples:
Data provenance. Food provenance. The provenance of the artwork was carefully researched before it was purchased.
Antique.
Very old and often valuable, from a bygone era.
Examples:
Antique shop. Imitation antique. She has a collection of antique vases that she inherited from her grandparents.
Murder.
The crime of killing somebody intentionally.
Examples:
Murder in the second degree. Attempted murder. This intriguing murder mystery remains unsolved.
Suspect.
To consider anything to be true or probable.
Examples:
Suspect a plot. Suspect that he is sick. The cops suspected him of being the killer.
Victim.
A person who has been harmed, injured, or otherwise negatively affected by a particular action, circumstance, or event.
Examples:
Victim support. Victim compensation. The victim of the crime deserves justice and support to recover from the trauma.
Grizzly.
A large North American bear species, often with grayish or brownish fur. A person who has streaks of gray or white hair.
Examples:
Grizzly size. Grisly encounter. The hiker stumbled upon a grizzly bear in the woods and quickly retreated.
Bury.
To place a dead body in the ground, grave, or tomb.
Examples:
Bury in the earth. Bury emotion. There is plenty of space to bury everyone.
Exhume.
To dig up or remove something, especially a corpse, from a grave or other burial place. To uncover or bring something hidden or forgotten to light.
Examples:
Exhume remains. Exhume the past. The authorities had to exhume the body for further investigation into the cause of death.
Excuse.
A reason or explanation, either true or invented, given to justify a fault or defend your behavior. Verb, to make someone free from blame or clear from guilt.
Examples:
Excuse for inaction. Perfect excuse. He quickly fabricated an excuse for not attending the meeting.
Visual.
Relating to seeing or sight.
Examples:
Visual navigation. Field of visual arts. The building makes a remarkable visual impact.
Pun.
A humorous play on words or use of words that sound similar but have different meanings, often for a comedic effect, a form of wordplay.
Examples:
Witty pun. Silly pun. The comedian's pun had the audience laughing out loud.
Chestnut.
A tree or its nut, with a smooth brown shell and a sweet edible kernel.
Examples:
Chestnut hair. Chestnut shell. The chestnut tree is known for its edible nuts and beautiful fall foliage.
Invisible.
Impossible or nearly impossible to see.
Examples:
An invisible asset. Invisible stars. The phenomenon is invisible at optical wavelengths.
Colleague.
One of a group of a coworker, especially in a profession or a business.
Examples:
Collaborate with colleagues. Former colleague. I decided to seek counseling on the advice of my colleague.
Palynology.
The study of pollen grains and other spores, especially as found in archaeological or geological samples, used for dating and reconstructing past environments.
Examples:
Palynology research. Palynology samples. The palynology lab is equipped with high-powered microscopes for detailed analysis.